Okay, so I decided I was going to do a read this afternoon as well. I did already open the book to a random page. Not sure that I'm going to keep it here, but I just thought I would share with you what I opened it to. It was, this is the Encyclopedia of the Psychic World, and that is by Teresa Chung. This is page 483. This is under newspaper tests. And I thought I would read this mediumistic test in which a spirit communicating through a medium predicts items in yet to be published newspapers. Feta, the spirit control of Gladys Osborne Leonard, created the test in 1919 as a way of offering proof for survival after death. I'm just going to throw this out there, and a lot of people are probably going to think I'm extra rude for doing so. But this is kind of the equivalent of summarizing, or like survival after death would be like proof of heaven, right? So if we're going to talk about proof of heaven and the fact that there are, humans out there who believe in the afterlife, connections with it, and the ability to communicate across dimensions, this is where this comes into play. So the newspaper test is actually 1919. Most of the tests were conducted through Leonard and Charles Drayton Thomas as the sitter, some with Thomas's father as the communicator. Thomas's father claimed through Feta that higher spirits took him to a newspaper office where he could see what was going to be published the next day in the Times London before it went to press. So this is before the printing press even got a hold of anything. These are people, places, and things that are manifesting predictions. This is a precognizant kind of situation. It's prediction, but it's also precognizant, like I just said. So in 73 out of 104 of the tests, Thomas's father, or Feta, correctly gave page numbers and the location of a page of a specific word, name, and number. By chance, one would expect to find only 18 correct answers. Despite the success of the newspaper's test, no evidence is yet considered conclusive scientific proof of survival after death. Skeptics urge that the words, names, and numbers used were commonly used and likely appear in virtually every issue of the Times. So I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm going to shut the book at this point. This key just fell out of the book. I don't know. You probably heard it bounce. I don't even know where it went. That's what I'm talking about. There's like, that's definitely a key, the newspaper test, right? What comes to mind with the newspaper test and kind of like this idea that they never got proof that there was survival after death, but that they were investigating such. It seems unexplained, right? And I'm not going to open this for just a moment, but I am going to use these cards. This is the all-seeing eye of, Horus kind of deck. So the thing about trying to get proof of something is that when there's a theory, obviously, that theory is only valid until it is disproven, right? And I guess the main ingredient of that newspaper test was more or less these two people who wanted pieces of information passed or identified between them, right? Yeah. So this is literally what this is giving me is not so much friendship. It's friendship with this is the ability to circumlocute. When you speak a different language than your first language, whatever secondary language you may have, sometimes you don't always have all the words that are needed to completely just like bang, like just head on confront whatever sentence, whatever idea or feeling that you're trying to convey, right? So what you have to do is use circumlocution. It is the methodical use of words that are similar kind of like an acronym as some, any kind of trigger that could help the person you're communicating with understand the correlation between the two. So that's what I'm seeing here in this card. It's not so much friendship, it's correlation between the two. Okay? So that correlation between the two needs to stay up to par, up to a certain level, in the event that you're going to have these proofs, right? A proof is not just an alcohol proof or an evidence proof or possibly proof positive that, a certainty. It's not just certainty. It's also about being able to replicate those results time and time again. So this is the Dryad in reverse. What I want to say is that this ungrounded energy is necessary for you to use any kind of psychic ability. You can be very grounded as a psychic person. That's not what I'm saying, is that you're not connected with reality, with the paperwork, the red tape. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're more focused on this connection. This woman is hanging upside down, just pointing that out. And her roots are in the air, whereas the branches are in the ground. Okay? So in a weird way, this is the newspaper test. This is the proof. She's literally grounded herself in a state where, although she looks bass-ackwards, is what I want to say, she still has all of this knowledge. And I'm seeing, like, this is a really very strange channeling, and I'm going to just confess that right up front. I'm seeing some type of giant taking a small figurine and trying to dump it out. Or, like, when you're putting salt or seasoning or spices on whatever food you're cooking, you kind of have this shaking, you sprinkle, like it's not just sprinkle. It's this is like kind of trying to get the information out of something. So when the last bit of peanut butter in the jar is what I'm saying. To get that last bit of peanut butter out of the jar, you really kind of have to scrape the bottom. It is a serious endeavor to get that out, and the reward for it is that much better. Okay? So although it seems like this finding the exact, like, kind of the I want to say the cross point, or the where two different psyches can kind of meeting in the middle. This is the difference between having an X on your forehead versus having a binding along the spine of your body. This is the proof of such, because her spinal column is still very much there, as well as her ability to identify where the root of the issue is, and that her head is really in the game. She's not hanging out upside down because that's what feels good. And in fact, her neck is kind of like, turned to the side, like she's kind of got all the weight of her body is directly on her neck right now, is on her, trying to leave her. That's what I'm saying, is that you really can't be in a non-fluent mindset. You need to have kind of an open-minded willingness for change, flexibility, and also just a space for this new knowledge to inhibit your body. So it may, so this may seem batshit crazy to some people, is what I want to say. She is hanging out like this because she is associating with the proof and evidence of being a bat. That is literally on the map where she has been directed to go. I'm now seeing this X being here like a treasure map, or some type of a trailhead, or some type of instruction manual for how to get here. This could be school. This could be a plethora of different things. But because we just pulled the newspaper test, what I'm seeing is that this is the newspaper and this is the disposition, the actual content, what's actually written, the X, Y's, and Z's, the A, B's, and C's. Those come from everything in between. So to have an alphanumeric kind of orientation that only suggests one language, for example, that is why she's in kind of out of sorts, is because she understands multiple different levels of communication, not only between dimensions possibly, but also just on a day-to-day basis when it comes to reading the news, when it comes to keeping updated about the disposition of her spirituality, being able to work with other people. This is somebody who doesn't necessarily like working with other people, earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, but also is not opposed to obtaining that knowledge. So this is the person that in the group project with, if there's 3 people or more, right, in the group, this is the one that's going to spearhead, I do want to say with these arrows, target or spearhead the issue from the bottom up. And that's a weird way to kind of have it fall, but it's like the ability to write it or the ability to do it. I remember being in college, and I think I mentioned this the other day, but people that I usually didn't really associate with wanting to get with me or study with me when finals came around, because I was that person that was always on point, taking notes. I will ask, I'm the one that's going to ask the questions to fill in the blanks. Other people didn't necessarily have their portion done, but I would just do it because I didn't want to get a bad grade. Sounds stupid in retrospect, but I was young, so whatever. It ended up helping me understand how working through an entire project or writing an entire paper by yourself can really behoove you in the future of self. So that's the energy here, is somebody being able to pinpoint the information either within periodicals, magazines, or newspapers. I am hearing magazines very strongly. Magazines is somehow, that's, all of them use paper. And I'm going to just say this is also a message from, I guess, tree spirits, but this would be the discontentment from the tree spirit having been used to convey these newspaper tests. The tree is not happy about that because most people keep their books. Books are extremely expensive, but periodicals and newspapers, not so much. People read those and then discard them. So this is kind of that, I don't know why I'm also getting, just because of the data, needing proof and kind of some type of validation. This is also being able to pinpoint that in the case that we were to make friends with kind of targeting, being online on a website, electronically using, we could stop using trees for so many periodicals or for so many testing purposes. There's something very poignant about that. It's like the trees would like to make friendship with this periodical idea. They also have data that they would like to share. However, they're not willing to lose their lives for it, okay? That's kind of the energy that I'm getting here. There's a little bit of Nell. I don't know if you've ever seen Nell by Jodie Foster, but this is kind of denoting that same worry. I don't know why I'm hearing the word worry, or it's the proof isn't, I'm hearing the proof is in the pudding. I personally don't know what would be in pudding that would be proof of anything, but I do know that if I find hair in my food that is not my own, I'm so done. I'm so done. Like I probably won't even finish the plate. Anybody who knows me knows that. If it's not my hair, it sends me, you know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things that like everybody has their little thing. Yeah. So here's the space. Like So there should be a very definite, what I'm getting from this card right now is that there should be a very definitive space available no matter which way you kind of frame this. So when we say that you put somebody in the dirt, you did not. You either respectfully buried them and no longer have space for their body in this physical world, right? And that is the respectful thing to do with, deceased individuals. Or you have made space for them not to be able to root or ground themselves. So as that, as nasty energy as that might kind of come across as being kind of biting or a little bit, it's kind of callous energy that's coming through. With that, it's almost like a disrespect. I'm seeing the scene in Sense8 where the Irish guy pees on his dad's grave. I don't know why I see that, but I just seeing that scene where he pees on his dad's grave. It's like you either hold space for someone or you don't. It's either you have a theory that you can test and it's accurate or you don't. You're either pissing on the grave or you're praising and paying last respects. That's the energy that I've got here. I don't know why I see somebody in a graveyard paying respects and something happening to the point where it's kind of, it becomes a little bit obvious eventually. So, let's see. Becomes a little bit obvious. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this juncture and I'm gonna move to this unexplained because we've got the evil eye here. What I'm seeing is that when you are focused on when you're frantically looking for the answer to something, you're more likely to be susceptible to whatever information is fed to you in the meantime. If I really want to get a pet, right? I'm kind of likely, if I start scrolling through the internet, petfinder.com, multiple different websites, I can look and look and look and look, right? I will not actually know whether that animal is a good fit for me, whether our energies fit. I'm not seeing this evil eye as being jealousy or any kind of bad thing today. What I'm seeing is that you need to be able to weigh out, just like with a theory and proof. There's 2 pages, there's 2 sides to this. So you need to be able to see from both sides the way that this could play out so that you can actually create the proof that you'd like to see. If you don't have any space for that or any space to be open-minded, like, oh, I've never seen water running backwards. There are places on this planet that happens. It goes uphill. If you've never seen a great elm, those are bigger, like so big around you could drive a car through the middle of the base of the tree and it's still just fine. Doesn't cut off any of the sap or anything. If you can't, it's interesting to me that I had my wallet kind of real close to me when I started this reading. The reason I love that wallet is because it has so many different eyes. It's automatically pushing eyes of all types away. Okay, so in the spiritual community, the evil eye is kind of auspicious. It's lucky in that it's going to keep, if you put it on your body somewhere, if you wear the evil eye, it will repel evil eyes from looking at you. So it is the poison and the antidote in this specific case. So if you cannot understand that about the nature of trees, for example, It's the same difference but that I was saying, that a tree spirit may not be very happy that it is being targeted or used to create these newspapers, periodicals, books, multiple different kind of printing press was actually mentioned. If this information is available, what could be available to us as a result is that before the printing press ever gets a hold on it, we would be able to tell this energy apart from this energy. So you, instead of automatically going to find the cover story for whatever issue of whatever magazine you're looking at, this is realizing that you can release that issue online or on on some type of website, or the World Wide Web, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's going to be equally as visible, equally as successful, and leave space for this information to either change into an online newspaper or newsletter, right? Or it gives the opportunity for us to kind of reconceptualize what this is going to look like long term. If that makes sense. So I think I'm going to do a separate reading. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do it really quick. This says evidence right here across the back. So I'm going to just say this. I'm going to go with this as my proof. And this page has already been turned to. This one has not. So we are on page 378 of Unexplained. This is 347 Strange Sightings, Incredible Occurrences, and Puzzling Physical Phenomenon by Jerome Clark. So it says, one of the liveliest ongoing cryptozoological controversies concerns an Australian animal which, though officially judged extinct, may yet be alive. What makes the matter particularly fascinating is that it is a mystery on two levels. The first, relatively moderate, and the second, decidedly extraordinary, okay? So I'm going to say this is the two levels. The two levels are here and here. I find it fascinating that we were talking about Archer type accuracy. You're targeting this X that's written on a tree somewhere, or written in a, you're finding the location of the tree in a book somewhere. That's the destination you're headed towards, or whatever, right? That's what this is. It's saying that. It says the thylacine, a carnivorous marsupial, came into existence on the Australian mainland late in the ages of mammals. Though it looked something like a cross between a fox, wolf, and tiger and a hyena, it was in fact related to the opossum, which zoologists believes is a shared common ancestor. I think that basically says enough. What this is saying is that the existence of such a thing has not been seen yet. This has not been pinpointed. The existence of certain proofs or evidence of certain animals, people, places, things, entities, I want to say spirits, any kind of ethereal being that you could believe in. That is what is being spearheaded here. So I'm going to just repeat this. Though it looked like something of a cross between a fox, a wolf, a tiger, and a hyena, it was in fact related to the opossum, which is the piece of information that they gathered from that entire thing, with which zoologist believes it shared a common ancestor. So when you think about like the ancestor of trees, or of a book for that matter, it would be trees. And if you want to talk about like sappy romances and whatnot, we could even go deeper into it. You know what I mean? If you want to talk about sappy romances where the man leaves the woman and she ends up pregnant and branches, like, I mean, you could really get like super telenovela about this. My point is more so that you are no longer shooting into the dark. This is no longer the void that you are taking shots at. This is effectively the eye of the tiger, and there's space for you to absolutely maximize. Oh, look, I'm gonna try to pull this. Maximize the energy that is moving in that specific direction. This is the star card, the power card, and the medicine card, all coming out together with the cleansing card. Cleansing of the shadow self in order for love to exist. Truthfully. Oh my God, I could keep going forever. This is goddess energy with butterfly right behind it. Really gorgeous energy coming out right here. This is lovely, like literally lovely energy. Yeah, so if you want to see a picture of the thylacine, it says the last officially recognized thylacine, sometimes called the Tasmanian tiger. Did I just say the eye of the tiger? Yeah. This is the Tasmanian tiger. And I do want to say there are Tasmanian devils, which is a cartoon character that is near and dear to my heart. It says died in captivity in Hobart Zoo in the 1930s, but reports of the animal in the wild persist. This is courtesy of Lauren Coleman. This is a picture of a thylacine. It's thigh, as in thy. In olden days, you know, scripture, olden days, they say thou art, and whatever. It's Thylacine. Thylacine.